As you can see, Jemshi and I are actually here together for the first time. We actually found the time to do this. And I'm actually really excited to have him sitting beside me. It's kind of nice not having to look at the screen to see his reactions to things. So.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more of these podcasts in person.
Absolutely.
In the future. But yeah, let's get into our topics for this podcast.
So I happened to be stumbling upon an article yesterday, and I saw that the makers of KOTOR actually were, KOTOR 2, which is Knights of the Old Republic, they were making Jedi, what was it? Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is under development by, what is it, Respawn Entertainment.
Yeah. The same people who developed Apex Legends.
Yeah,
so,
which is exciting because I loved KOTOR, I loved Apex Legends, and I'm excited to see them kind of combine together. So apparently the setting actually takes place somewhere in between episode 3 and 4, and you're playing as a Padawan that actually kind of, survived Order 66. So I'm interested in see like what they do with it, because I absolutely love Star Wars, and it's just an interesting take on everything because you haven't really played something like that yet, which I'm kind of excited.
Right. I think that's kind of an interesting point in the Star Wars kind of like series where like they kind of just like skimmed over it, where they're like, okay, Order 66, all the Jedi died, right? Like they kind of just like had a little montage of them all, but it's like,
I mean, like they had Yoda escaping and things like that, so like it's nice to see that some other Jedi actually kind of got out, and
right,
it's amazing that a Padawan got out. So
right, and I think it's kind of they're acknowledging the fact that, well, maybe not every Jedi that kind of got out, it was because like Yoda kind of, they all kind of seclude themselves, like they aren't trying to be around and noticed by the Sith. So there's a lot of other Jedi out there that could possibly be in hiding that we just didn't get to see in the full series.
Yeah, which can take. I'm sure that Disney's going to take Star Wars in a strange, crazy direction one day of probably saying that some other Jedi escaped and he's another, like, somewhere else in the galaxy. He's like a huge thing, but that's for a different day to talk about when they actually discuss something like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, and our next topic of discussion is how Sony has been giving refunds to PS4 players for Anthem.
I saw that. That's
which was
terrible.
Developed by BioWare. And the story kind of goes is that a lot of people have been asking for refunds for Anthem because the game has been either shutting down, like while they're just trying to queue up for a match, the game shuts down, or it just like completely shuts down the PS4. So like it's as if somebody just pulled the plug on their PS4. And then some people have reported that they've even bricked their PS4 where it just crashes it so hard that...
What are they doing in that situation? Like, are they actually going to replace the PS4s for those individuals? Because I've never heard of another game completely destroying someone's console before.
Yeah, I don't even know how that would be possible, because you would think that they would develop the PS4 in a way that it wouldn't allow for that kind of...
But how they develop a game that can actually do that? Like,
I mean, just shutting the game down in general, where it just like, comes to such a halt that it's just like the PS4 has nothing to do except to shut down.
Yeah, I just don't understand how someone can... I don't know.
Yeah, so this is impressive. I think it's just kind of interesting to see the timeline of this, is that every time they release a new update for Anthem, BioWare says, hey, game's fixed, now there's no more bugs or crashes. And then literally within minutes of that update going live and people start playing again, it's still crashing.
That's right. They put out a bunch of patches to try to fix these issues, and they made it worse.
Yeah, like it's just hasn't ever gotten better. It almost seems like it's a lost cause. But so Sony, the people that are playing on PS4 have been trying to get a refund for the game, and a lot of people have been reporting that they've been able to get a refund. And I think there's kind of like been a discussion that there's an unofficial... So people think that... Let me start over. That Sony has been offering a refund for Anthem specifically. And it's kind of... that sounds great, because obviously they realize that, hey, this game is, ruining people's PS4 experiences.
But
they're
not offering it, are they?
Right. So the thing that's actually what people are assuming is happening is that this has been suspected for quite a while, is that every PS4 player gets a I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Let me get a cord before it dies. We'll just cut it.
Yeah. Want me to stop it? Or do you want me to keep on rolling? I'll just say like a wave and cut.
Yeah, just wave on though.
So You're fine, man.
That is my bad.
Maybe.
This would be like me just like start over where I could cut and say like, hey, so this is what's actually happening. Because I was fucking around on that a whole bunch.
Wait, you want to start the whole thing over?
No. I mean, like, just like me explaining, like, so Sony's actually getting an unofficial.
You can plug it in over there. Yeah, there's a plug over there, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm using them all.
Oh man, Jesus! For what? For what are you plugging in that you needed it?
Wait, I'm not actually not using them all.
Exactly.
I was plugging in my charger for my battery of the camera. Film sticks.
Oh.
Okay.
There you go. So. All right, you give yourself a countdown, and like we'll just cut it and then redo it.
All right, 3, 2, 1. So what people have kind of been suspecting for quite some time is that Sony has always had this unofficial one refund, no questions asked kind of policy. And I guess a lot of people, when they buy games on the PS4, they don't ever think to ask for a refund. Until now, where Anthem, it's been so prevalent that people have just been like, I am done playing this game. It's ruining my, I can't even play it. It's ruining my PS4. I'm afraid that it's going to, ruin it beyond, repair. And I have to buy a whole new PS4. So they're just like, I'm just going to return this game. And I think this is the first time that anyone's ever come across the fact that they can, like that one return.
So what happens to the people that have already asked for a refund in the past?
Right. So I've looked on like Reddit threads and other places like Twitter and stuff where they've been discussing this, and people who have asked for a refund before on a different game haven't been able to get the refund for Anthem. But the people who have never asked for a refund before are able to get the refund for Anthem. So
are they looking into this? Because in my opinion, that is a little ridiculous that even though if they've asked for one in the past, since this is obviously destroying PS4s. Like we're at the point of it, like completely breaking
right. There's a risk that you could totally just
So are they like looking into it to possibly give those people their money back, or
I'm not sure. I mean, this is only kind of what I've seen people say on the internet. We can't say for sure that some people have like had it actually brick, but I'm assuming that scare is there. People have definitely reported that it's been shutting down their PS4s. The amount of people saying that it's kind of bricked their PS4 has been kind of sparse, so it's kind of hard to see if somebody's just trying to say that for the reaction to kind of...
Or maybe they're just trying to get a free PS4. I mean, I don't know if it's the case, but I mean...
Right, but this is just kind of interesting to see that there is a refund policy, and if you haven't refunded a game and you're definitely not having a good experience with Anthem, this would be the time to use it, because you're probably most likely not going to play this game. And I can't imagine what BioWare is trying to do right now, because they've spent so much time on this game only to just have it, because like you played it on the demo weekend.
Yeah,
kind of.
And I had a lot of issues with it. And like I said, it wasn't a bad game. It's just the fact that they didn't prepare well enough, in my opinion. I think they just kind of like they set a date, and they were trying frantically to reach that date. And they're like, well, it kind of works. And they're like, well, push it anyway. I mean, at least that's what my opinion was. Like I said, the loading screens, I would get stuck on loading screens like a lot of the time. And there's a lot of time that I just couldn't go any further. I'd actually shut off like my console, boot it back up, or close down the actual game and then get back into the game to actually play the game sometimes. So
right, and I think that just all those problems that that it's had, that you thought that demo weekend was just like them trying to like work out the kinks, and then you come to find out that it's not a little kink that it's trying to iron out. It's actually this huge problem that they just somehow didn't overcome the entire process of development. Like I can't imagine how they never found out about these errors, because there have been so many other games like Apex Legends that has just come in and it's
flawlessly
just, right,
released, and I honestly, I've had a few issues when I've seen a few things actually on the internet, people like getting knocked and being able to use their guns. I've seen a few things that actually happened to me, that I would get knocked and I actually got picked back up and I couldn't run. I could pull out a gun, but I couldn't run. So like I was literally walking at the speed of crawling. And that's happened to me once or twice. But I mean, other than that, there's really not huge amount of like it's happened. Like I played so many times. I'm level 50 something, which is pretty sad to say.
So out of like what, maybe hundreds of games you maybe have played,
Yeah,
it's
probably
maybe
like twice, maybe 3 times something weird has happened. But
right, but unlike Anthem, where you have played maybe 5 games out of the if you play the amount of time
I'd
you've
say
spent
about
waiting.
like 20 different games, and I'm pretty sure that it's happened about 10, like about half.
Right,
the games that, like something bad has happened.
Right, so if you've got a 50% chance of having a very bad experience playing a game, as opposed to, maybe that was probably like 0.5%. You don't even know what the chances of those bugs are, and they probably fixed them pretty quickly. And I almost wonder if Apex Legends' success was kind of, the contributing factor was the fact that Anthem was just awful. Like, the fact that like a lot of people could have been playing Anthem that wouldn't have played Apex, but because now all these people that would have been playing Anthem at the time just didn't even play it. Like Apex Legends comes out, they're just like, you know what? I'll play this game. Wow,
I wouldn't say that Apex was 100% the. So what I'm trying to say is, I guess Anthem is a good game. Like, the idea is solid. Like, it's a good idea.
Right. You said the gameplay is great.
When it works, yeah. I really enjoyed the game. I didn't think it brought that much new, things or elements to the actual table for gamers. But, when the game worked, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I just didn't get to work that often. As you can see, these people are still having issues. But, Apex came in flawlessly, and it's free to play. So,
right, and it has a new twist on the Battle Royale genre. I think it just did a lot of the things right
absolutely
at the right time. And I think that really helped it just kind of push it over the edge that I bet you even the developers weren't even expecting. It seems like even they just kind of were like, wow, because they have, 50 million players now?
And that's a month in, too.
Right, after a month after the release. And I think we were looking at Fortnite, which is one of the largest games kind of within this past year that just kind of take over the gaming world. Mm-hmm. I think it took it 5 months almost to get to 50 million players.
That's after the Battle Royale part of that game.
Right. This is whenever Battle Royale for Fortnite got released. Because there was Fortnite beforehand, and then there's Fortnite Battle Royale. And this is after Battle Royale dropped. So it really took a lot of time for Fortnite to really get to that, point. So it's just kind of insane to see that there's so many people playing Apex Legends. I think that there, Fortnite's around 130 million players. So the fact that
130.
That was
so
at
you're
its
looking
prime.
at almost 1/3 the way to Fortnite already, and this is
in
month
1 month,
yeah.
Right? And I think that it's only getting better because it's just the positive response Apex Legends.
They can get those type of players because it's free to play,
right?
If it wasn't free to play, would it get those numbers? I don't believe so.
Right, I agree. And then speaking of games that you got to pay for, there was Dead or Alive 6 that do you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
one?
so apparently Dead or Alive 6 is planned to, they put out this game $60, and
all right, kind of
that's not bad. But what happened was immediately after this game has been released, they release a battle pass for Dead or Alive 6, which is about $93, and that unlocks 60 skins for characters in the game, and also gives you access to 2 additional characters. But for $93,
right? And then you got to have the game in.
That's not including the game. I'm not saying 60 plus another $33 to get 93. You know what I'm saying? This is $93 separate just for the battle pass.
Right, and it's just insane that the prices that you have to, they're saying, the barrier of entry to just start playing some of these games is starting to get crazy high. And I don't know if Dead or Alive is kind of struggling to make some money off of their games. I know that they've got a very dedicated player base. They've got tournaments that have big prize pools. There's people that play this as professionally, and this is their job to play Dead or Alive. But I don't understand why they've got to I feel like this is going to start turning away people that if I would really love the game, would I be, inclined to pay $60 for the game and then $93? Because you had if you, I don't know. I know a lot of the games you have to grind to unlock a lot of these things,
which is the fun part about it, in my opinion. I enjoy grinding, not a huge grind to get a lot of stuff, but it's neat to So the way Super Smash Brothers did it, you can play against. You can play on a screen together, play against each other, and we can still unlock characters, which is cool.
Right.
And I like that aspect, the Mortal Kombat aspect of fighting games, that you can, you get to fight through stages and then beat the boss, and then you get unlocked, you unlock a new character. That's fun.
Right.
But for you to pay $93 to unlock 2 additional characters and 60 skins, that is unreal.
Right, and I think that I don't understand why they have to just have this huge price point, because you can only imagine that the reception they're going to get. Because I couldn't think of developing a game where I expect someone to pay 60 plus 93. That's like $153, like $150 for a single game, and you still probably have to pay more because it's just the battle pass for year 1 or season pass, right? This is the season pass. They're going to have more seasons coming. There's going to be new characters coming out. And you still
I'll be looking for another $93, like
right? Is it because that's going to have to be another thing? And I know it's with Fortnite. Like they've already released that they've got a free battle pass.
I was going to say that. I mean, they're trying to combat Apex Legends. But they did a fantastic job, in my opinion. I mean, they're really trying, and it seems like they still have a pretty good following and people streaming Fortnite. I mean, some people got burnt out at Apex. I'm not going to lie, I did. I mean, I kind of grinded. And
I think it was... I'm trying to, hope... we don't know for sure now, but it kind of might be one of the things where it's growing so fast. Because Fortnite's been around for such a long time because it was such a gradual growth. Yeah. But Apex Legends was so fast that, it might just kind of peak off and then, just drop right back down as fast as it grew. Because, it might have been just like everyone's looking for the next big thing because everyone's been playing Fortnite for so long. That they might get tired and be like, you know what, I may, go back to Fortnite now that they've got a free battle pass.
But the only thing is that I think that Apex can do now is to spice it up a little bit. So they have their traditional characters that they have right now. They have the same map, same guns. I know they added one, which was the Havoc, which is kind of neat. It's an energy-based assault rifle. But they added one gun now, and I think that they need to add more things, like maybe a new map, maybe a new game mode, and that's what I'm hoping that can really spice up. Maybe that's
what really I think helped Fortnite, grow to where it is the fact that it had the battle passes, but those things unlocked, new skins, new.
Well, they even have new
maps,
seasons.
Yeah, the maps were also changed every season.
Yeah, and that's what's nice. I mean, they have the same map, like the same size map. But they just changed locations. They changed terrain a little bit. They customized it to whatever season. So like winter, they did a wintry area, which was
right. There's always something to look forward to. So
they added vehicles too. That kind of adds a new part.
Right.
To it.
I can imagine if because Apex Legends, it's like okay, it's got sliding. That's one new thing, but eventually that will get you get used to it, and it's not as interesting anymore. And I think that. What they kind of need to do is start, taking that approach, changing up the map, doing.
I think they will
create things that people are looking forward to.
If I remember correctly, when they were going to make the announcement of Apex Legends, I was super stoked. I actually went to their live stream and watched, and I do remember they had different. The very first map, if I remember this correctly, one of the screens was a jungle-looking map. Like it was like not the swamp or something you've seen in the actual game, like in the game right now.
The current map,
yeah. So it was more jungle, and the way it was set up, like there was like tons of trees, and there was a big rock formation that was like some kind of arch, and it was different from what I saw in this map. So I'm wondering if they do have more maps and they're going to release them later on, and I'm kind of excited about that. I haven't looked into it, but I want to now.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're on their way, because I'm sure they might not have thought that they had to release it as soon as they did, which hopefully doesn't create any, bugs or anything, because, it sounds like it's a very solid game already. There's a couple things they got to, that one or two bugs that you've run into, but other than that, I feel like it's a pretty solid game, and that the next thing they need is just to... Hopefully they don't even need to release it now. They just need to announce that they are going to. Because that was the thing with Fortnite, is they always had the anticipation of something new was going to come next month. Yeah. And that kind of got you to I want to know what it was. What's the new map? What's the new thing that I'm looking forward to?
What's the new vehicle, guns, skins, all that stuff, yeah.
Right.
But, so on a different topic, we actually went down some crazy wormhole yesterday. And we were... really interested in the game Cyberpunk 2077.
Right. Yeah, because I guess we're kind of late to the party, is that they released back in E3 of 2018. So this is almost a year ago. They released...
Well, they talked about this, in 2012?
13. Right? May 2013 is when they kind of first announced the game was in development. And I've kind of like seen it every now and then. I kind of watched it and I thought, oh, this is pretty cool.
I've heard of it, but I've never really looked into it.
Right. Like it was always kind of like, because it wasn't ever coming out. So I never kind of put much attention to it. But we finally kind of like dove in that rabbit hole where we started looking up all the things that we had missed this entire time.
Yeah. So we ended up watching the gameplay trailer, and it was
almost an hour long, right?
Yeah, it was 48 minutes or something like that, but it was awesome. Like, I absolutely love what I saw, and I know in our previous podcast we talked about how people were getting away from single-player games, but this game in general looks like it has its crap together.
Yeah, and I loved the whole setting of this game, because if you watch, I highly recommend you watch it. Obviously, if it's 18 plus, and it's just kind of amazing to see because there's also like they try to cut down as much as they can on loading time, like screens and anything. So they want the gameplay to be flawless, and it's a very open world single player game in this Neo Tokyo like machine world game where I think the one interesting thing is that they kind of have like a very high disregard to the human body, because like everyone just upgrades to a human part, like, oh cool, I can just always get a better eye than I was born with, so why?
Yeah, well, in the gameplay trailer they actually showed the woman swapping out her eye for like a bionic eye, so she can zoom into later on in the game they actually show some kind of deal going down, and she zoomed in on it closer because she was super far away. So she was able to get this like bionic eye to really enhance the game in a sense. So it looks like you can take parts of your body and upgrade them later on, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, because that just makes because I think the one thing that makes any game good is that there's always something new and fresh. And I think that this, like, even just playing that, where there seems like they've got so many things in this game.
The concept is just completely new. Did you ever see The Fifth Element? It's a movie with Bruce Willis. It was a fantastic movie, but it was like set in that futuristic time zone, like not so much the same as this, but it's like the same concept. Like it's super futuristic, but it's an older movie. It was a really good movie.
Right, I assume it's maybe more of like a probably 80s or 90s movie.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I'm pretty sure it was the 90s if I remember correctly.
Probably, I think so. Like that.
But no, it was an awesome movie. But I love the futuristic aspects of this because not many games hit it really well. There's games that are like Anthem that have like futuristic kind of settings that seem like if I remember the environment in which you're like in the town and stuff, it's not so futuristic. I mean, it is, but it's not futuristic. This is like everything's like metal skyscrapers, neon lights, like it goes all out.
And I think because I remember we were watching the trailer and like we only saw maybe a couple trees, like in like just kind of the scenery, like
just for like landscaping.
Nature, yeah, like nature really isn't a part of this city because it's just like this. Every like the buildings are so
it's
tall.
all developed. Like,
and I love that there's also like the I don't know what they would call it, but it's kind of like the underworld where it's like there's the ground level, and then because they couldn't build up anymore, they built down, and now there's like this huge city almost like underneath.
Yeah.
And it's just so complicated, and I can't imagine like how huge this game could be just from the gameplay trailer. Oh, like I thought
unreal.
Yeah, like I can't imagine that this game is. This is like one of the first games I think me personally I had like definitely am going to play because I'll watch trailers and I'll be like, oh, this is cool, and I'll give it a try. You never really got
into Skyrim, and like it's the same kind of concept in a sense. Like it's a role playing game, and you can like it's an open world. But this game is more of your style. Yeah,
I think it's just the setting. Because I think with Skyrim, I think a lot of that genre had been played out in a lot of other games that I had played,
Yeah.
And I'd kind of, there's not a lot of games that have the cyberpunk, genre that were done to the extreme that, cyberpunk is doing. Yeah. And I feel that that's like what's really got this game going. And I think that this is like possibly going to set like a whole new standard for what single player games need to be, or
I mean, Red Dead kind of set that. With Red Dead Redemption 2, it was an awesome game. I haven't finished it yet. It's super in depth, but the detail to Cyberpunk 2077 is unreal. Like even wearing clothes like depicts on like what happens to your character. So like you have street cred.
Yeah, there's like street cred and everything,
which is ridiculous.
Influence what vendors you can talk to, what people will talk, like what they say to you will change based on what you're wearing, and that amount of detail is insane. And I know this is the people making Cyberpunk 2077 are the same people that developed Witcher, which is also awesome because that if you've played that game, that is just another awesome game. Yeah. But I don't like that's what I'm saying. But like Witcher's kind of like that,
Well, they have so much detail in The Witcher. It was why I'm excited about it, because the Witcher games were awesome. The detail in it, the story behind it.
Right, like they didn't leave like any detail, untouched. Like everything had to be figured out. And it felt like it was such an interactive world. You could shoot through the walls. You could like interact with almost every object in the game. Yeah,
like the environment would completely be destroyed around you. So like she was hiding behind a pillar and she actually shot. Well, the character that they're playing in this is a woman, and she shot the pillars, and the pillars just started like deteriorating, which is awesome. So it's like it's a destructible world. It's not indestructible like most games, which means they put so much more detail in just this specific part, and there's so much more detail in this game. It's unreal.
Right. I mean, if you're listening to this or watching this, if you haven't played this game and you're interested in something new with single player, I would highly recommend just checking the trailer out. I mean, they've got a couple shorter ones. You don't have to watch the whole hour-long one.
No, but the big rabbit hole that we were talking about before actually wasn't just watching the trailer, which is it's an hour-long-ish. But it was also trying to figure out where this game actually came from.
The origin and what kind of inspired it. And so it started, what inspired Cyberpunk 2077 was this board game called Cyberpunk. And Cyberpunk, the tale of some kind of, I can't remember the name, but it's just been, kind of people just call it Cyberpunk. And then they came out with the second edition of this board game.
Cyberpunk 2020.
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2020.
This is why it gets really complicated. So the very first thing that happened was, Damnation Alley, which was a novel
written in 1969 that was just kind of like a futuristic, setting novel. And somebody read this book and said, wow, this is awesome. And it inspired him to write his own book called Hardwired. And this was written in, 1986?
Yeah.
And this book was kind of set in, because it was written in the 80s, so it had the...
Well, it was written in the 70s, so it was kind of like going towards that direction of the cyberpunk feel that you get
right now. Meant like the time when he wrote it, like it was, set in like the 70s, 80s. Yeah. But I meant like when he wrote it, that the future that like that era had in mind that they were going to come into in the 2000s, that's kind of what they were envisioning, and that's what he really encapsulated in that book. Yeah. So Hardwired was kind of like the pinnacle of that, cyberpunk genre. I mean, they didn't really call it cyberpunk at the time, but like later on, that's kind of the name that it came, because he kind of really developed that, very punk, like everybody's like on the street, kind of like even the low life people are like very immersed in this robotic technology that like, they're like, it's just a part of their life. And so this inspired a, role playing board game. Cyberpunk, which was released, within a year or two of the book's release, Hardwired. So they came out with Cyberpunk, and then they came out with their second edition, Cyberpunk 2020.
In 1990.
Right.
Yeah.
So they came out with that board game, and then the makers of this new Cyberpunk 2077 were just totally like amazed and inspired by this genre. Like they just loved it. Yeah. Probably as much as you and I do.
Yeah.
And
because it's the quintessential like 70s. If you think back to like Terminator and Tron and things like that, that's what they envisioned the year of 2000 and whatever, like 2020 to be. Like that futuristic is what this game is, and I absolutely love that.
Right, and they really encapsulated that in Cyberpunk 2077, and it just it looks amazing. You and I just sat there and watched the whole thing. And yeah, the graphics are insane. I remember I commented to you that even the facial expressions were just so realistic.
Yep, the environment, just everything about this game looks fantastic. I don't know, I'm really, really excited for this game to drop, and I hope they don't delay it because I'm really looking forward to this.
Right, I think this is one of those games that I really hope it doesn't. Like, I mean, I don't want to jinx it by talking and hyping it up because it's.
No, I mean, it's
so amazing.
We like it because we love that era, and we love that idea of cyberpunk.
Right, but I think that I think it's going to bring some new elements to cyberpunk, just the fact that it brought, like, the interactive world, and there's other things more than just the setting that it's bringing.
The storyline just looks very good. I mean, the missions that I saw her partake in the main character in the game just were awesome. Like, it wasn't the normal go grab this, get this kind of thing. Like, it was really well thought out.
Yeah, it was a very story-driven
Yeah.
mission in games. Like, that's what I feel like that these single-player games are just going to set, like, a huge...
Yeah, it's just because they have to bring something new to the table. I feel like every other, crappily written story for, like, some kind of campaign, it was like, go here, go grab that, come back, done. Go do the same thing somewhere else, but it's a little different. But this one's like...
Yeah, I feel like there's missions, but there's missions, but then there's, like, a storyline that kind of drives everything, because you're not just trying to, like, you've got your own objectives and everything, too, that, like, intermix with the story, and I feel like they've planned it out.
There's so much things you can do, it seems, in this game. Like, I obviously don't know because it's not done being developed yet, but still, it's the fact that you can associate with different people, different styles of clothing, different enhancements to your body. Like, I mean, you can get, like, bionic eye, for goodness sakes. And I know there was other things, and they have, like, skill trees and things like that, but it just looks so well thought out that I'm so excited about this game.
Right, and I would recommend this game to anyone who's listening or watching. Check out the trailers, get hyped along with us.
Yeah, I'm rambling for however long we're doing this for, but I was blown away. Like, it was super late at night when I watched this trailer, or when we watched this trailer.
Yeah, because you just kind of were watching a little bit, and you were just like, Jemshi, get over here, watch this. And
I just couldn't stop. I was so blown away by the fact that, like, some game now is going to take the time to make this immersive world with so much detail for, like, a single-player game. Like, blew my mind. Like, I was so excited for something that, like, I've been waiting for something like this in this era. Like, it's awesome.
Right, like, it's the thing I didn't even know I wanted to be.
Yeah.
That's how I would phrase it.
It's on my Christmas list for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if it does come out. I mean, they're probably going to announce it again at E3 this year in June. And hopefully they maybe announce a release date, because right now there is no release date.
Correct.
But, I mean, just the fact that it's in production and they've come so far that I can't imagine they would let this game drop.
No, they've been developing for what? How long? 2012, 13? Something like
so that's
that.
almost 6 years now. I mean, a game with 6 years of development just sounds like it's...
I mean, I've seen games drop for being developed for 7 years, but I don't see, like, there's so much hype around this game. What did it win for one of the EA's
the most wanted game was 28 games. It was most wanted game because people really wanted it, but even though it didn't come out.
Oh, yeah.
But it's one, like, most anticipated also. But I think the most wanted game was just the fact that the game's not even out, and more people wanted to play that game than the games that were actually coming out that year, which was, like, I think that really
says something for the game.
Exactly. So,
no, look for that game and look for. I'm excited, man. I really am, and I'm never really excited about single player games.
Right. I think this might be the one game that just makes me go off the grid, and I'm just going to be playing this game forever. You'll never see me again.
No, I will. I will see you. I hope, because we're going to be doing a podcast together. So you better not drop off this face of this earth, man. I need you.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We're hopefully going to be doing more of these in-person podcasts in the future soon. We're actually hoping to kind of take this podcast to the next level. We're going to be trying a lot of new things and experimenting with stuff, and we hope you guys are here with us along the ride.
Yeah, and if you don't know, Jemshi and I do not even live in the same state. So for us to actually appear before you guys together is a bit of a feat. So we're hoping that if this goes well, we can get a studio together and actually do this full time.
And thank you for listening to this episode of the Rad Gaming Podcast.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and rate and subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever else you listen to podcasts.
We release a new episode every Wednesday and Friday. And as always, stay rad, comrades.